Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I thought I'd get on a little bit today. We had to do a term paper today on a subject, and one of the things anybody that knows me knows that I'm an advocate gardener, and gardening can release stress. I just wanted to read the essay that I wrote, and I wanted to talk a little bit about how it can release stress. Okay, the essay was The Benefits of Gardening and Yard Work. There are several reasons why gardening and yard work can relieve stress and benefit someone's health. Gardening combines physical activity, time in nature, and a sense of accomplishment. All of these positively impact my mental well-being. Several years ago, I had a very serious stroke. It took a while to get back to being able to walk and move around. Gardening involves various movements like digging, planting, and weeding, which becomes a form of exercise for me, which helped me recover from the effects of the stroke. This physical activity released endorphins and natural mood boosters that help alleviate stress and anxiety. From when I was young, I enjoyed being outside. Gardening requires attention to detail and focus on the present moment, which can help reduce negative thoughts patterns associated with stress. It really helps me think about positive things instead of dwelling on all the discouraging negative things in life. Finally, seeing my garden thrive, whether it's growing vegetables or even the flowers in my yard, it is very rewarding for me and boosts my self-esteem. The sense of accomplishment can help reduce my feelings of anxiety and depression. I would highly recommend any type of gardening for anyone that needs to reduce stress in their lives. And that is really true. Anybody that remembers when I had my stroke, I was out of commission for over a year actually. When I didn't even know I had a stroke at the beginning, but one day after they took me off the breathing tube, and I could start breathing on my own, a physical therapist came in. And he tried, he said, "Here, let's get up." Well, I could sit up in bed, but I had no feelings in my legs. I remember when I just woke up out of the coma, the doctor would come over there and say, "Squeeze my hands." And I couldn't even feel his hands. It was a couple weeks before I was able to squeeze his hands back. And, the doctor had a big smile on his face, said, we're on the move to recovery. When I got out of the hospital, they put me in a nursing home so that they can help me with my walking movements. But I was good at kind of faking it to the nurses and all that by, thinking I could walk good enough to get home. Well, really I couldn't. I could walk maybe a foot and then fall. Well, my roommate Paul, who passed away a couple years back, came and picked me up, and we parked in front of my house. I opened up the door like I normally would. I got out like I normally would, thinking there was no problem. I went straight to the ground and could not get up. Luckily, there was a real nice gentleman and his wife that literally carried me to my steps. Then Paul called Victoria, and Victoria said, "Call 911. So the ambulance came and they carried me in the house. So that was a scary time in my life, but I overcame that. And one reason is because of being able to work outside in my yard. I would not be happy in an apartment just because I wouldn't have the access to do any gardening or anything of that nature. So I spend a lot of time outside, even if it's just sitting on the back deck that my brother built for me. I helped him, but he did all the work. I'm taking a little bit of credit on that. But I would sit outside there, take my Bluetooth out, listen to Michael W. Smith, Stephen Curtis Chapman, or some of my favorite musicians. I'll sit there and talk on the phone to my ex-wife, my son, my friend Tiffany, and other people just to pass the time. I have a lot of people that care about me that I really didn't know about. I remember my sister did this website when I had a stroke. It was for people that was seriously ill that they didn't know if they were going to make it. And I was reading some of the comments one time, and two of the people, I won't mention their names, but they never had much nice to say about me when I was in good health. And boy, they were talking real nice on that. I was thinking, boy, that's a big surprise. But gardening is really what pulled me out of it. And the exercises and a few good friends that I have. I know lately I've had pretty ups and downs with people who I thought were my friends that end up stealing off me, and those are not friends. So now I have my school work, which I have to work on about 3 times a day or so. One of them I'm just going to probably pass by my writing assignments. That's the composition class. It's kind of difficult. It's been 30-some years since I've been in any type of college setting, and 40-some years since high school. So it's taken a little bit of time. But I'm really excited with, how, working outside in the yard motivates me and keeps me going. I was sitting in the middle of my garden just weeding. Now with a bad hip, I can't do that anymore, so I'm kind of in a dilemma. I have to get my hip replaced. But I have to quit smoking again. I quit for 7 years for those that remember me. Hey, Tori. Now I was talking about one of my writing assignments that I had to write for school today, which I turned in already. I got actually 100 on it. And I'm probably going to pass at school just by the writing part, not by the some of the other stuff, because the writing is 80% of the grade. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And then I'm already signed up for next semester. And Victoria now owns a house, her and her husband as well. And, so she's got a yard, so she'll be able to do some of the things too eventually. Right now she's taking care of a mama cat and a bunch of kittens that's underneath her front porch. And of course, her kitten, I got to know her kitten pretty good from years ago when Victoria was around here. And I got to know Victoria, boy, I don't know, it was a long time ago. At the first meeting for Fair Treatment, Reform and Reentry, she came in to ask a question, thinking that we could help her with the situation that she was in. But we couldn't. The only thing I really knew was the prison issues. And that's something that I really don't work on too much anymore. I'm more into trying to assist those that are homeless, those that are in need out here in society. And that's also another good stress releaser, is volunteering, doing something positive in the community. If it's helping the homeless people, if it's helping underprivileged kids or the handicapped, or just going shopping for an elderly couple that needs some groceries. That all will help release stress. My blood pressure lately has been around 200 again, so I have to start doing a little bit more to get my blood pressure back down. When I had my stroke, it was 200 over 140, something like that, and that didn't turn out too well. So I got to get mine down to what it should be. But so Victoria, you're gonna put in a garden in your yard next year? You got the yard, and they got a nice, cute little house out in Mansfield. It's halfway marked between here and Cleveland, where my son lives. My son lives in Parma. That's Victoria's adopted brother, of course. My mother thinks Victoria is his sister, so we'll claim it. Victoria's husband works for Mansfield Correctional now, and which I'm really glad because they need some good people to work into the facilities, and instead of people that want to harass prisoners, you know, they're getting some decent people in there. Another thing, and I didn't mention this, but when I had my stroke, I was born with a disease called ataxia. You might be able to see my shirt here. And I got 3 different types of ataxia, but the stroke pushed it out. Sometimes the stroke will push out dementia, which so far I don't think I have. Some people think I do, but if I do, I can't remember it. So, so it helps with that. Sometimes I can't even get out of bed because my speech gets real slurred, and that's from the ataxia and my movements. So I have to be able to work outside on good days, and days that I feel pretty good. And when it's not in the 90s, which it's going to be in the 90s, I think Sunday is going to be like 94, 95 in Columbus, something like that. I'll be in the air conditioning. I might be out in the morning having my cup of coffee. And the good thing about doing college work on the computer, you could pretty much study anytime. I like to get up first thing in the morning and have my cup of coffee and do some studying. Like I was saying in my composition class, I would be passing that class just probably because of the writing. I've done good on the writing. The advanced reading, I'm getting a B so far. And then I had another one, college readiness, which I just took that just for the credit hour. And next quarter, I'm already signed up. I'm taking another composition class and another English class to just boost it up. And then I'm going to start on the degree. And I might not even continue with the degree. I haven't really decided yet because they got certificate programs, and I am taking the one on recovery services for addiction. I would like to work with sex offenders that are struggling, because a lot of people want to label people, and all addiction is similar. They just hurt people in a different manner, in a different way. And addictions can be controlled. And I've always said, even if you don't lose the desires, you can learn how to control it. So I won't sit here and let other people badmouth somebody because of whatever they did wrong in their life, because I know firsthand how that feels. And I'm sure all that played a role into me having my stroke. There was Grant said I was allergic to contrast dye. OSU said I was not allergic to contrast dye. They said it was just going to happen, the stroke. So it's here or there. It happened, and I'm trying to prevent another one. I reminded my son the other day, he's 39, I started having heart disease at 40. I had my first heart attack. And when I got out of prison, I think I weighed like 410 pounds, and now I'm at 204. And I feel a lot better. I want to get down to 190 though. But the doctor said I'm okay at the weight that I'm at right now. But if I didn't have a garden to work in, or, which is my form of exercise, I probably wouldn't have lost that much weight. And when I'm under a lot of stress because of what happened here recently with 2 people who I thought were decent people, I wouldn't have lost as much weight. I lost since last summer, I lost like 90 pounds since last summer. A lot of it was stress related. So, that's why I've always suggested, especially to those coming out of prison, for the men or women that are coming out, get yourself a hobby. Idle time is not always good. A lot of times people will reoffend when they're bored, or they don't have anything else to do, or they don't feel purpose in their life. If you're a religious person, you can volunteer at churches, soup kitchens, the homeless shelter, Hope for the Community, which is our group. and many other ones. There's prisoners that need our assistance as well. And I know I'm kind of out of the picture on that. I was more or less pushed out, and which I really don't mind now, being pushed out. You know, I'm 62 now. I've been home 16 years, and I worked on prison issues every day of my life since I've been home, and it gets to be very, very stressful. You find out that not every prisoner tells you the truth, not every staff member tells you the truth, and when you combine our prison system, which is not always fair, I think lately they have made some strides to be better than what they were at one time. But I know it's a lot worse from when I was in. You know, and I would like to see people stay out, not be a round trip back in. You know, and that's why when I got out in January 24, 2010, there was not, or 2011, there was not any reentry groups in the state of Ohio. Fair Treatment Reform and Reentry, which Terry Croson, myself, was there from day one. Then Victoria became our president. Then Candace, and I don't want to discuss the next person who took over, but we were the first group in the state of Ohio to work on parole reform, and the second in the nation. You know, and we were so close to getting a bill passed on parole reform until the news media came after me, since I was an easy target to destroy that proposal. And then we had a coward state rep that backed down, you know, from doing what could have been something positive to help people out. You know, and I still say we need a fair system. We need people that actually care. I think we have a halfway decent director in there now, but there's a lot of people that are very judgmental in the prison systems. Some of them won't even talk with me anymore, you know, which is fine with me. It's not like, you know, it really bothered me, but when you want to get something done that's positive, you have to be willing to work with others and try to network. And work on prison issues, as Victoria would know, and Terry would know, and Candace, is a very stressful situation because you're dealing with people's lives. You know, and that's not the type of field you want to get into if you're trying to release stress. You could do that and then also pick up a hobby that will help you overcome some of the stress that would take place. So, but well, I can't see what you wrote there, Victoria, but I'll check it out when I get off. Let me see what else. Well, I got to go to call me later. I got food in the oven, okay? It's still bad from what I am hearing on the inside. Yeah, the system is bad on the inside still. You know, you have to get staff that actually has a caring heart, and a staff that wants to see people succeed and overcome some of the difficulties that they had that brought them into prison. There's not much rehabilitation in our system today. You know, you say, well, you to take this program or that program, you know, and they do, but the parole board doesn't recognize it. I remember a case manager, I won't mention her name, I know it, but I will not mention it, but she would come in, put down the paper, say sign it, then you could take off. You know, she never taught the class. It was Cage of Rage and a few other ones that she taught. And she was a case manager at Marion. And I'm sure that's happening in other institutions as well. Well, guys, it was nice chatting with you. Talk to everybody later.